a journey, a curiosity journey of a small town boy from Bharat. The small town is called Bagasra. Bagasra is a tiny dot on a world map. It's in a part of Saurashtra. And there is a saying, and the boy doesn't know whether he should be really proud of or whether he should be joked about. सोने से कम नहीं, खो जाए तो गम नहीं. So there is a saying, they make so perfect ornaments which looks like real gold, but you don't have to worry or cry even if it gets theft or if you lose it. That's the town he belongs. Simple dreams, simple town. But his father had a big dream for his boy. He thought, my kid would become a doctor. How many of you also had similar thing of your parents? You might be an engineer, you might be an MBA, but your dad wanted something else to be. And for that boy, his parents, like many Bharat parents, want them to become a doctor or engineer. So he wanted him to become a doctor. He started well in a primary, but somehow I think he enjoyed more books outside instead of reading inside. And he failed in his 12th grade. He failed. And suddenly, the neighbors who were unsure about their career started to give the career advice to this failed kid. The relatives who never called my dad or his dad started giving, हमने तो खबर जाती है नपास 10 है. And that boy, 17-year boy, was feeling, is this the end? But then there was a hand which came on his shoulder of his dad. And it said, in life, either you win or you learn. You never fail. And that hit him like anything. The curiosity switched on. And he felt like, what else could happen? The dad, someone who was looking for him to become a doctor, even didn't scold him. Even he was not angry. And he just said that it happens. Eventually, he passed. And I think that's the story of Bharat, isn't it? Sometimes we take things very easy and say that until it's proven right, Bharat will not succeed. And that's what the story of the boy was. So after passing out 12th grade, he was fortunate to get an admission into engineering. And he got his curiosity stuck with the computers. In the engineering, how many of you are last benchers? I could see many hands. He was the last bencher. While he liked the computers, but he never liked to study and be the one to sit in the first bench. He was someone who used to annoy the teachers a lot, asking so many questions. While he studied, they did something which is in trend right now. Startups are in trend. IoT is in trend, Internet of Things, smart cities, smart homes. With his friend, they developed something called as device control over internet. So I could control that light sitting in San Francisco with my mobile device. And I'm speaking 15 years back. So they created this project. They won various awards across the colleges, across the universities. Everyone applauded. Even they got a VC, a venture capitalist, interest at this point in time. But they didn't know that was an innovation because they felt it is all out of their curiosity. Once that happened, most of you who has done engineering, in 6th semester, there is a campus hiring which happens. And one fine day in a small town, the big tier company, I will not name that company, but that came. And out of 1,500 students, they selected 30 students, and this boy was one of it. And he was very happy. So on one hand, he got a project of device control over internet, and on the second hand, he got a safe choice. What would you do in this case? Dono haath mein laddu? And he went for a safer choice. Maybe he didn't have a mentor like we have now. 15 years back, there were 1,000 startups. And as we speak today, we have 190,000 startups. Maybe it was ahead of time. And to his surprise, when he passed out, so 6th semester was the campus selection, and 8th semester, which is the completion of the engineering, is the passing of it. He identified and opened the offer letter. He saw the date of joining was not written. So the company missed out to write date of joining, and that was the time of recession. I don't know how many of you are aware, but when the recession comes in, they just hold your appointments and ask you to stay wherever you are. And that happens to Bharat, right? Many a times when Bharat wants to grow up on a global front, there is some or the other thing, whether it is war, whether it is internal terrorism, whether it is recession, or something or other. But it keeps going with the curiosity. And the same thing boy did. He kept going with the curiosity. After his engineering, in the recession, he was thinking what to do. Whether to start a job, or do something else, or start something its own, or go back to the project where this started. And that's where he felt, let's do an MBA. Because many of the people right now, right, engineering ke baad kya karoge beta? So sochenge kya karenge, and they generally go for an MBA. He did the same thing, he went for an MBA. While he did continue to be last bencher, but something remarkable happened at the convocation. And you're also going to go for the convocation after some time for your graduation or post-graduation degrees. And he had a superhero in his life at that point in time called as Narayan Murthy, Infosys founder. And it so happens, possibly the manifestation or I am enough, Narayan Murthy comes in the convocation that day. And that boy was like, wow, my dream is coming true. I'm going to get a certificate from Dr. Narayan Murthy. He was still sitting at the last bench when the convocation is happening. And there was an announcement from the top. Ek bacha, please come forward to light a diya with Narayan Murthy. And you should see that boy, He ran like anything, like his life on his stand. And he ran and came in forward to be with his hero, superhero. It stayed with him. It inspired him to do something more than what he thought he would be doing. So Bharat does not wait for an opportunity. If there is an opportunity, Bharat grabs it. There was a saying, the tech companies only work in metro cities. Is that true enough? Not anymore, right? But if I talk about 15 years back, that boy, when he passed out, he was into a company which was Ahmedabad-based, which was tech-based, and there was a person who believed in the young talent, in the local talent. And he was ready to take a chance on the local talent and do something which now people did before. So that was the kind of company which I started with. The company was ready to give chances. Where I moved more than 15 countries. I spent more than my 7 years outside India doing consulting for more than 10 industries. But that's where I learned about giving chance and opportunity and the local talent which I have. Right now, if I speak to my friends, many of them are running the companies which are locally based, whether it is Trichy, whether it is Coimbatore, whether it is Rajkot. And more than 80% of the employees are locally hired. And that's the new India. That's the Bharat for you. It's not only coming from metro to small town and villages, but the technology is itself growing wherever they are. Fast forward, he ran into a place in Anand. There was a small building over there. He went in and he saw many of the girls were working over there. Young girls on computers. First he felt, what could possibly over here? Then he found out it was been run by an NGO, and that was a rural BPO. He went inside and there was such a conversation. And one girl said, I'm working at the same place where my mom worked for 15 years cleaning the offices. And she was the one employee working over there as a BPO consultant. I felt that's Bharat, right? Bharat does not need charity. They need chance. And if he are able to provide that chance, they can work at the same place where they are and do the dignified job. Traditionally, people used to do that kind of a work of, let's say, sweeping. But do they have to continue what they were doing earlier? Possibly not. And if the avenues are available right at their place, why not? Instead of doing a labor work, coming to a metro city, which are getting saturated, which are getting polluted, they are getting saturated. So if at all we are able to bring that avenues, not for charity again, as I said, it's giving a chance and it's for their purpose to get better from where they are. Then he joined a company which believes in saving lives, protecting citizens, and transforming business models. While they do a lot of foundation work to help people before even the CSR become a thing here in India, one of the key area what they used to work upon was called Deep Blue. And the project Deep Blue is a simple theme of inviting engineering students to solve a real world problems. Similar to the clubs what you have over here, which have been mentored by some of you who has been walked there, talked there. This is a similar theme, but this is for the real world problem where they are given platform to solve certain problems. It could be how a blind person could cross the road. So that is a social problem. How can we have a clean and a hygienic water across towns, rivers, and villages? What can we do for the sanitation? And these are the social problems which are democratized, which are being worked upon and solved. While it was expected that the IITs, NITs would do a good work in that, but to his surprise, he found out the colleges from Tier 2 and Tier 3 are equally talented and are possibly also providing a better outcome than what IITs and NITs were providing. That's the Bharat for you. If the talent is given opportunity, it doesn't have to wait to get into the best colleges. Because the digital technologies are now democratized. If you go to Bhuj, if you go to Morbi, there are colleges available. There are compute power available, which can help you to do so. It's just the direction and helping them to provide that platform and the direction what we can give to them. That was an eye-opener. And fast forward, as he sees the future lying, I think we talked about artificial intelligence. I call AI as an augmented intelligence. And that's with human in the loop. Because if everything becomes artificial, the authenticity goes for a toss. You don't know what is true or what is fake, right, at that point in time. And if you see, it is getting democratized. So if you are looking to build an app, you don't need to learn the code. You need to have an idea. And there is a tool available which will take your voice, which will take your idea, structure it in a better way, and then possibly build it for you. If you want to design a TEDx, you are inviting speakers, you could automate the complete workflow right from the time where they're coming, what will happen after that, what the communication has to go, who has to be with whom. That is the power of AI. I learn at NBS, everything is digital now. So they are running 6 threads. The place where we add food today, the students don't have to pay via cash. It's a cashless system. We have UPI, which is again, game-changing part. It doesn't understand PIN code. It doesn't ask which college you are coming from, right? So that is how it is democratizing the overall process. There are 3 levels of AI, and I think this is something important for you to understand that what is that in AI, you can also relevant to do it, and hopefully it could also make a career out of it. The first one is the two side of AI. One is the user and second is the developer. So I think someone said either you can be a creator or you can be a consumer. Where do you think India sits? So it's both, right? They consume as well as they build something. And there are three levels of typography which is getting built. The first one is called LLM, which is called large language model. The second one is called SLM, which is small language model. And third one is the B-scope application of using that LLM and SLM. Now, LLMs are generally been taken and already developed by many of who's who, which could be OpenAI, it could be Grok, and others. Maybe India is not into that one. Possibly Perplexity is something which we can relate to. But there is an area of SLM as well as the application. How can we make that use of LLM and SLM to build the application which are customized, personalized for the work, whether it is agriculture, whether it is social inclusion, whether it is democratization of the digital technologies which can help anyone and everyone in India as well as Bharat. So there is an endless opportunity. And I believe what will differentiate someone from now and 10 years forward is not the idea. You might have an idea, or you might be just sitting on that idea. But what will define is action. How fast are you able to bring that into action? And it's not that you will succeed for the first time. There are high chances you will fail. But failure will help you to learn and go for the next one. But one who keeps trying, one who keeps showing up, possibly be the winner than the loser. Before I close my talk, I wanted to say that boy, the curious boy who failed in 12th standard, who did not get into a top tier company which he thought he would go, he possibly missed the chance of being a startup guy at that point in time, is none other than me. And with all the humility, I put forward that what kept me going was the curiosity. And this could be also a story of a Bharat, right? A lot of billions of lives are being lived in this particular area. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I put forward the curious case of Bharat. Thank you.